Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining the webinar. We'll get started here in just a moment. We're going to allow a few more people to join, and then we'll kick things off. Looks like we have a few more coming in here, so appreciate your patience while we wait just a minute or so. All right, I think we'll get started. Well, thanks everyone for joining today. We're very excited to discuss atomic assessments for nursing in Brightspace. Quick introductions, I'm Chris Johnson, the Regional Director here at Atomic Jolt, and I'm joined by Nick Rebney, our VP of Revenue. Before we dive in, let me start off by saying for those of us here in the United States, happy National Nurses Week. And for those of you who are joining us from Canada, I think we're a bit early. Happy National Nurses Week next week. We're very excited to show you how atomic assessments can enhance teaching and learning in your nursing program, all while working seamlessly within Brightspace. Just a quick few housekeeping items. I'd like to start with the agenda, and then we can talk a little bit about the structure and some of our giveaways. But we'll kick things off with a brief introduction to Atomic Jolt. Nick's going to walk us through a live demo of atomic assessments right within Brightspace. And of course, throughout the demo, feel free to drop your questions into the chat. We'll make sure we answer all of them or save them to the last few minutes where we'll certainly do a Q&A. That's perfectly fine as well. This session is going to be recorded, and we'll be sure to send the link of the recording immediately after the webinar. But if you are interested in a one-on-one personalized demo or want to try atomic assessments for free in your Brightspace instance, we'll be following up with a link to our calendar where we can set that up for you. And then the one last thing, everyone here today is entered into our Uber Eats giveaway. We'll announce the winner in the email as well, so keep an eye out for that. All right, with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Nick Rebney for a walkthrough of atomic assessments. Take it away, Nick.
Thanks, Chris. Hello to all you out there. Nick Rebney, VP of Revenue, as Chris mentioned. Take you through an overview of our atomic assessments product, specifically geared towards a nursing audience. We're partners with D2L Brightspace. We are one of their Tier 1 preferred partners. A little bit about us as an organization, if you're not familiar with Atomic Jolt. We're a teaching and learning technology company, so we support and extend learning management systems out there. So as I mentioned, we work with Brightspace, but of course we work with many other learning management systems as well. We've got a number of Brightspace clients across the globe, and we support millions of learners with our varied products. A couple of our products that we have, we're going to talk mostly about atomic assessments today, but just for your information, we do have a search tool that makes Brightspace more easily searchable, a deep text search, as well as some social learning tools if you're interested in those as well. But we'll focus primarily on atomic assessments today and its relevance to nursing education. So most of Brightspace clients come to us for atomic assessments because they don't have the nursing NCLEX questions that they need in Brightspace. So they need a solution to deliver those next-gen NCLEX items, and atomic assessments is a great solution for that. Beyond the NCLEX, which we'll get to in a moment, we do support many other question types beyond just the NCLEX next-gen item types. So it's really applicable for all of your teaching, both formative and summative, as well as the rest of your disciplines at your institution. We've delivered over 40 different item types that are unique and innovative and really applicable to many of those disciplines like yourselves in nursing that need some more complex item types. Specifically as it relates to nursing, we do incorporate all of the NCLEX next-gen item types. So we provide you templates to be able to develop your own items off of those, as well as we give you a starter pack, we'll call it, an 85-item NCLEX practice exam with all of those items interspersed that you can get started with right away. You can deliver that to your students immediately or use that as the basis for developing your own items. Certainly, you're able to do plus minus scoring and a lot of the other capabilities that you need in nursing education. So without further ado, let's jump out into Brightspace and take a look around. The first thing that you'll notice is I'm going to go in as a student and we'll look at the student experience first. And then from there, we'll round back into some of the different instructor views, reporting, etc. I'm going to go into a course that we have, and we'll take a look first at the nursing items. So I've got an assignment laid out inside of Brightspace. So the first thing that you'll notice, these are all atomic assessments, exams or assessments. So they lay out right along your other modules, topics, other work that you're doing inside Brightspace. So we have extremely tight integration with Brightspace. The student and even most instructors wouldn't even know that they're not inside of Brightspace currently. So I'm launching this again as a student, and I get started with a little start screen. Again, this is optional, but it might give the student a little bit more instructions about the type of exam that they're going to sit for, how much time that they have, all those details that you might want to deliver to the student right before they take the exam. And then once we start the exam, again, I hope you'll find that this is very seamless to the Brightspace learning environment. So it's not an extra website that students go out to. They don't need to register any differently. They just come in through Brightspace like they do for any other activity that you've got them doing, and they go right into their exam. I can make this full screen. So this to the right here is what we call our player. This player can be customized to deliver different settings. One thing that everyone does is pretty much put it into full screen mode. So it gives you the entire screen real estate. And then there's some other options along the side here that we'll go through that are completely optional for you to deliver to your students, but provide the test taking experience that you're looking for. I'll point out that this looks and feels a lot like the NCLEX exam. It provides that nice 2-column format where you can present case study trend items out to the left and then provide different question types out to the right. So it'll give them that realistic experience that you're seeking for the NCLEX. It's in this case, you're looking at multiple choice question, pretty straightforward. But we'll go through some of the other item types as we move along. Of course, you've got the opportunity to develop as many different tabs as you want for your items. So your students can scroll through the information that they need while the problem or the question still remains on the screen to give them that option to look at everything that they need. We'll skip ahead just for the sake of demonstration here to show you some of the different item types. But of course, your drag and drop item types with as many different blanks as you want the student to populate. And again, as I mentioned, you got plus minus scoring, so you can give partial credit for different responses here. You've got your matrix item, again, with the different tabs available, and then the multiple select matrix type item. You've got multiple items per page. So as opposed to just one singular item, you can deliver, in this case, a multiple response, 3 different multiple response questions that the student can respond to. Token highlights, obviously a needed item type for the NCLEX. You've got the capability to create token highlight problems. Again, you can see I have similar kind of tabs out to the left with differentiating questions as we work through those particular items. Just flowing through here, just so you get this a sense of some of the different item types. We've covered a lot of the main ones. One thing we haven't looked at quite yet is the bow tie item type. We do incorporate that item type as well. So similarly, you've got your pieces of information that you want the student to respond to, and then you've got a bow tie type item available to the student. The functionality exists where you can deliver multimedia within your items. So for example, inside the nurse's instructions here, you have a video item type. You can certainly have audio and deliver it in the fashion that you want with the information that you need. You can also deliver case studies. So this happens to be a 5-item case study that you can deliver. So this all builds upon itself. So you can see this is case study 1, or excuse me, there's 6 items in this. And as the student flows through, they continue to get additional information about this particular client and have different question types that build as they go along with the information that they need. A note about the player settings, you have the opportunity to deliver some accessibility settings. So if students need to change the color scheme that they view the exam with, it's really easy for them to do that in whichever fashion that they want. If they need to change the font size to make it look larger or be able to zoom in and out with the keyboard functions, they can do that as well. You can allow them to deliver a calculator or have access to a calculator through this player. So that would be available to them on any problem. You can also incorporate it on a problem by problem or item by item basis if you'd like as well. You can allow them to use item flagging. So if you do allow them to go backwards to items, I know the NCLEX doesn't, so you certainly can restrict their movement to just being forward. But if you do want to provide a different test taking experience, they can flag items and then understand the ones they flagged and return to them later. There's item masking. So if they are just working through and removing options for their own purposes, they can do that so they're not distracted during the exam. They can have a notepad, scratch paper if you want. Again, I know there's some reasons why nurses wouldn't want that for security of the exam, but certainly you've got that available. You can also allow them to annotate on top of the page. So if you want to allow them to do some different annotations and consider their options, you can do that. Benefit being that in the review process, when you're looking at the exam, you can see the information, the notations that they made as they've gone along. So again, all of these are options, completely voluntary for you to set when you set up the exam, but giving you a sense of the different types of solutions available to you. Okay, that's a little bit of the student experience on a more of a summative exam. Chris, I might pause there, see if there's any questions that I haven't addressed yet. Oop, I think you're muted.
Sorry. Aaron had a question about the ability to essentially edit these questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're giving you a bank of items. We're not a content provider, so we're not giving you thousands and thousands of items. We're giving you 85 items that you're going to start with. But yeah, you'll have templates to work from that will allow you to build your own items. So that's certainly what our product is mostly about, is about you being able to develop the items that you want on top of these NCLEX items. Okay, moving along. This is certainly available for both formative and summative uses. We've looked at a little bit of an example of a summative assessment. I'll go in and take a look at how you can incorporate this as part of maybe formative learning. So certainly you can deliver an exam or multiple items like you saw me going through here, but you can also incorporate it as part of your general learning and content delivery that you're doing. So if you're using Brightspace pages to create content and deliver that to students, you can embed Atomic Assessments items inside of those pages to make that review more seamless. So make it more interactive, give the student the ability to get immediate feedback. So this is a basic lesson or page where you're delivering information on cell structure. As opposed to just reading along, you can see that up pops an Atomic Assessments item. So as opposed to just scrolling around and hoping that I've got this information from my reading, I can actually work through this particular item, labeling the parts of the cell here, and then check myself. So seeing if I got this or not. You have the opportunity to move this directly to the gradebook if you'd like, or make it just for formative learning. But it allows you to embed Atomic Assessments items throughout your learning content to make it more interactive and engaging. And you can put that anywhere on the page that you wish. So those are some examples of how you can incorporate Atomic Assessments and the view from the student experience. Let's flip over and look at it as an instructor. Okay, I'm now in as a faculty member or an admin in my case, and I have access to go ahead and edit all of these items. So a couple of notes before we do that is the reporting is quite important, obviously, to nursing education. So all of the items that you give through atomic assessments, you have detailed reports. So first of all, you're able to decide if you want this to go to the grade book. So if you're taking these exams for a grade, during the exam setup process, you can decide if this goes to the gradebook. So it's really simple to make that happen. We just have a checkbox, either yes, I want it to go to the gradebook, or no, I do not, and decide on the points possible, and then deliver it. Beyond that, and it goes directly to Brightspace gradebook. There's no additional setup or anything like that additionally required for you to have to decide that. You also have a number of accommodations, so you can assign it to everyone and make it due on a certain date and time, provide a time limit, or you can override that, meaning that you can give it to some additional students, give them extra time or some additional accommodations based on the needs at your institution. You have quite a few additional settings that you can decide on how you want to deliver that. A couple of them to note in this call, you can proctor these. So if you use different proctoring providers, you can enable proctoring. So Respondus Lockdown Browser, Proctorio, if you like more of the live scenario. It even works with HonorLock as well as Integrity Advocate, which is another Brightspace partner. You can do random question selection. So if you have pools of items, you can decide to deliver a certain amount of questions based on your different ways that you're tagging items. So you really have a lot of capability to deliver some very interesting assessments. So that's a little bit about the settings that you can set up, but pretty much most of the ways that you might want to deliver an exam is possible. Another interesting area is obviously the reports. So every exam that you give or assignment that you give comes with data. And when you select the reports, you can see the students who have taken that exam. If they're in the exam session in the moment, you can see where they're at, and you can even force complete them if for some reason you need to do that. But it's kind of like your management area here on the summary tab. The summary tab also comes with some interesting information about this exam as a whole. So we have the Cronbach's Alpha, which is similar to the KR20 that provides you that measure. And then going through that, you also have a number of different types of reports that get more detailed as we go along. So you could look at every single question on this particular exam and how each student performed, how that question performed overall. You can get a nice global view of all of your students, all of those items, if you wanted to just see how students performed on specific items in kind of a navigational view there. And then when we get into question stats, that's where you get some of the nursing measures that you might be interested in. So you can look at how students in the upper 27% of this exam perform versus the lower 27% of this exam. You can look at the point by serial correlation and some other metrics that might be of interest to you. You have complete control to show the type of information that you want. So you have a little checkbox area here to filter in and out the different metrics that you want for this particular exam. All of this is viewable through Brightspace, through Atomic Assessments, but you can download and take this data away if you like to combine it with other pieces of data inside of a some kind of data warehouse or something that you might be utilizing. Additionally to that, we have new reports that provide more detail on your individual students. So you can look at this tab here that provides each a breakdown of every student who's taken that exam and how they prepared or performed versus some of the ways that you've tagged the exam. And in this case, some of the NCLEX categories. You can see how this student has performed on those basic categories that the items are attached to. So there's a couple of different areas here, a couple of different sections that you can look at. So it gives the student a lot of helpful information as they're preparing for the NCLEX exam to understand some of their areas of strength and weakness to hone in on. So that's an example of some of the reporting and exam configuration options that are available. Chris, is there anything worth addressing in the questions at this moment?
Yeah, Jody asked about learning outcomes and how you can link questions to learning outcomes.
Great. Yeah, that's a key area of atomic assessments. I'll go into kind of the authoring area of atomic assessments now, and we'll just take a quick view of how you might work through that. So obviously, this is a software that takes training and understanding of how to build items, but we do have hundreds of clients out there that build items. So we provide training as part of the adoption, and that would help you understand, kind of some of the processes that I'm going through in order to develop items. But due to the fact this is a relatively short webinar, I'm going to go into an item that I've already got developed, and you can show you how you can build on top of the items that we already have. So what we will do when you adopt it is we'll give you all of those different item templates that we have. So in this case, this is a case study trend item that's a multiple choice question with 4 different tabs. So if you recall from the student experience, you saw these different tabs that I want. We're now in editing mode. So essentially, you would duplicate this item. So I'll just call this Lunch and Learn that we're in here for tab MCQ, multiple choice question. And now I have a completely separate item that I've disconnected from the item that we've provided you. And that item now can be edited, and it doesn't affect the items that are currently in use. And so depending on what I want to do, I've got each one of these tabs. I can change the name of this tab, or I can go in and change the information that's part of the delivery in this tab. So you can see I can go in and I've got all of my different editing functions to be able to remove this piece of content, or change the condition of this particular patient and move around in the way that I want to. So change the vitals from what's here now to something different. And then over here on the right, you see I have a multiple choice question, or in this case, a multiple response question. I can add another item to that. So let's say instead of a multiple response question, I wanted to do a token highlight question, right? So now I want a token highlight question. I can author that question, create the correct answer and save that. And now in addition to the multiple response question, I also have a token highlight question. I can decide that I only want this to be a token highlight question. So I might just delete that multiple response question. And once I save that, now I'm good to go. Now I have my first item developed. So it's really that quick from the templates to be able to develop the items that you're looking to develop. To answer the question, you can tag those items quite easily. So I went into, just show you what I did there. I went into the settings of this particular item, and one of my options is tags. So previously, we've set up different different hierarchy of tags, and I can just find those by typing in additional information. I guess I don't know which hierarchies I have, so I can just go to my tags area, and you can see I've got some different tags set up for my learning outcomes or my NCLEX client needs categories or whatever they might be. These are all developed by you. So you decide what the content categories are. You can develop your own here. You can see you can create your own tag hierarchy and then create your own tags within them. And then if I go back to my item that I was in, I could go ahead and tag that item with those tags that I have. So I've got a level 1 tag, and then I've got the information. So anatomy, for example, and I can apply multiple tags to the same item. And once I apply that, then that tag is now part of that particular item. So if I went back after I saved this, went back, you can see that this particular item is now tagged to a level 1 tag anatomy. So it's pretty quick to create your own taxonomy and then tag things accordingly. Okay. Anything else, Chris, in the chat at this moment?
No, I think that we've answered them in the chat. There's quite a few questions about pricing. So if you had, follow-up questions about pricing, let me know and we can certainly address those. But I think we're good to move on.
Great. Since I've spent a little bit of time discussing nursing, some of the different item types related to the NCLEX, I'll cover a couple seconds with our additional time to talk about the applicability of atomic assessments beyond nursing or even beyond NCLEX-style questions. Certainly in your nursing program, you're going to give NCLEX-style questions. You're going to prepare the students for the NCLEX as you move through your program, but you're also going to give other items that aren't necessarily on the NCLEX. And same are other disciplines within your institution. Well, there's lots of different item types beyond NCLEX questions that are available with atomic assessments. So we'll just jump into that student experience again and show you a little bit about some of those different items. So we have a sample exam here built with some different items. So for example, hotspot items. Obviously we had token highlights as part of the NCLEX, but you can upload any image and then create clickable areas out of those images to create hotspot items. Similarly with drag and drop type items, upload any image that you have, create these drag handles and these drag boxes, and that becomes an item that you can use as a labeling exercise. There's really no limit to you. You have images on the internet or your own personal ones that you can create these type of items out of. We've covered that. Mathematics is a heavy component of atomic assessments. So STEM disciplines use atomic assessments quite a bit because of the ability to render mathematical notations, as well as the ability for students to respond to mathematical notations quite seamlessly in the product. Image annotation. So again, uploading any image that you have and being able to allow students to annotate on top of that image. And use different tools to be able to explain things, and then you can grade those items as you go through. Different drag and drop items with numbers in the drag handles, images in the drags, fractions, whatever it might be. You've got a lot of different capability to deliver those. Additionally, we have adaptive assessments. So if you wanted to create exams that were personalized to the delivery of each individual student, you have the capability to build adaptive exams with atomic assessments. So lots of different capability, applicability. You can see you can make them as media rich as you want, or just standard questions as you've seen some of the ones that we've presented so far. So lots of capability with atomic assessments, but I think with time, it's best to leave it there. We'd love to interact with you additionally based on your own situation at your institution, whether that be pricing or the own type of items that you're looking for. But at this time, I think we'll pause there. And Chris, I'll throw it back to you to close out.
Thanks, Nick. All right, so before we wrap up, just want to thank everyone for taking time today to join us in discussing atomic assessments and how it can support your nursing program, specifically by streamlining assessment creation, improving student engagement, and giving instructors more flexibility in Brightspace. As a reminder, we'll be sending out the link of this recording in case there's anyone from your team that's interested in reviewing it. We also have the ability to install atomic assessments directly within your Brightspace instance if you are interested in trying it out with your own learning content. And then we'll also be following up with an email to discuss who the lucky winner is of that Uber Eats giveaway. If any questions come to mind after this session, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd love to continue our conversation and explore how our tools might meet your nursing students or nursing faculty's needs. And with that, again, happy National Nurses Week, either this week or next, and we hope to connect with you all soon. Take care, everyone.